Hello, my name is Mohammed Ben Aboud. I'm a professor of history, retired professor of history, and I would like to make a little declaration about the relations between the Kingdom of Morocco and the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. And I have a special relation, a personal relation, because my father participated in the first Islamic conference at Karachi in November, December of 1949, after which there was a plane accident, and he was one of the members, the 26 or so members who died. When the plane was coming from Lahore to Karachi, they were invited by the newly established government of Pakistan. The participation, the first Islamic international economic conference was very, very important for the entire Islamic world, because it was the nucleus of what would later become the Islamic Conference. And the significance of this conference for Morocco is that the newly independent state of Pakistan supported the nationalist struggle for independence of the Moroccans, and my father was a leading nationalist leader. He was the director of the Arab office in Cairo, which was very closely linked to the Arab League, and he was also the representative of Morocco in the cultural committee of the Arab League. So he was given permission to represent Morocco, even though Morocco had not acquired its independence, and would not acquire its independence until 1956. So it is very important that the newly independent government of Pakistan give its full support to the Moroccan activities of the Moroccan nationalist movement in the Arab world and abroad, in this case in Pakistan. Now, just to give you an idea of the great loss for both Pakistan and Morocco and North Africa, the Arab Maghreb, is that the plane carried about 26 people, among which was the delegation of the North African or Maghrebi delegation representing Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria. So Algeria was represented by Ali al-Hammami, and Tunisia was represented by Dr. Al-Habib Thamir, and Morocco was represented by Mohammed Ahmed Ben Aboud, who was my father. Now, this was before I was born. So I was born posthumously after my father died, and his body was carried to Tangier, Morocco, and he was buried in the city of Tangier, not his hometown of Tetuan, because the Spanish general commissioner, this was the Spanish protectorate, said that he would not let his body, because he was exiled, alive and dead. So he was buried at Tangier. It doesn't matter because it's an Islamic land, so it doesn't matter. But the Algerian was buried in Algeria after he was, they had he was buried after he had his funeral, but the body of the Tunisian was completely burned, so it was a symbolic return. But there were two Pakistani generals, young Pakistani, I think they were generals, anyway they were very highly qualified military officials. One had participated in the War of Korea, and the other one had participated in the War of Japan, and they also died in this plane accident, one of them along with his wife. They were given a state funeral. I would like to point out that this was the first accident of the Pakistani PIA company. It's the first civil aviation accident. What happened was that the pilot was a mistake, human mistake, thought that he had reached Karachi and would land, but in so doing, the plane crashed against the mountain in a village about 30 miles from Karachi. Okay, so another way in which the Pakistani government helped the Moroccan government diplomatically was in the United Nations, because the Pakistani foreign minister gave some Moroccan nationalists a passport which they used to be able to speak in the United Nations, and who was there that they defended the cause of the independence struggle of Morocco against France and Spain, because Morocco was colonized. It was divided into 3 different zones: the French zone, the Spanish zone, and the international zone of Tangier. Now, I did visit Pakistan, and I did make the flight between Lahore and Karachi, so I had the feeling of the trip that my father had made, first from Karachi to Lahore as a guest of the Pakistani government, and then almost all the way, but not quite, back to Karachi. It's a deserted area, as you probably know, and the plane, they did not reach the plane until 48 hours afterwards. I studied the details in the Dawn newspaper, which was founded by the Ali Jinnah, the father of the Pakistani nation. One of my dear friends in Morocco is His Excellency Ambassador Hamid Asghar Khan. For some reason, it did not take us long to become really close friends, even though he used to live in the capital of Rabat as the ambassador, and I was in Tetouan, which is about 300 kilometers away. But we traveled together in Morocco, and he probably visited Tetouan more than any other city in Morocco during his 4-year term as ambassador to Morocco. And so I had a chance to really show him Tetouan very, very well, as I think perhaps no other Pakistani would be able to do. So he did not forget our friendship, even though his term has been over for about a year or so, and so we kept in contact. And I was extremely happy to learn that there will be an event in Pakistan as a result of a common military maneuvers, which include several nations, including the United States, Morocco, and Pakistan. They have these military maneuvers, and so I think it's a good occasion for me to speak about the relations between Morocco and Pakistan. I would just like to say that I have visited Pakistan before, because I had several students I was a graduate from the University of Edinburgh back in the 70s, and during that time I went to an American university in California, and it was there in between England and the United States that I had some Pakistani friends from the Noom family of Lahore. This is a distinguished family, and so it's also a friendship which has lasted for many, many years. My dear friend Fayez Noon, I visited his farm in the region of Lahore, and he showed me around, and he invited me to this very fantastic, unique restaurant called The Village, which offers the cuisine of the province of the Punjab, and also gave a series of lectures invited by the University of the Punjab over 2 weeks. Every 2 days I would give a lecture on one of the themes that I'm interested in, which include the history of Al-Andalus, the history of the nationalist movement in Morocco, which is also related to the activities of my father in the Middle East and his relations with Pakistan, and also other themes like Orientalism. I have a book entitled Islam and Orientalism. I have many books actually published, but I'm basically a historian of Al-Andalus, and I know that many Pakistanis are very interested in the history of Al-Andalus as an Islamic state that flourished in Europe during the Middle Ages. And my specialization, this is a state that lasted for 8 centuries. My specialization is the history of the 11th century. That was my PhD dissertation, which I presented to the University of Edinburgh under the supervision of the famous professor, Scottish Orientalist William Montgomery Watt. So, Pakistan for me is a country that I admire very much. I find that it is really a country of many cultures, as you probably know. I mean, His Excellency the Ambassador invited us for a dinner on board a Pakistani military frigate, and they offered a meal of more than 20 different dishes, each one representing a different province. And Pakistani food I find to be absolutely fantastic. The curries and I may not know the names, but I know that their food is absolutely delicious, especially because of the spices. And of course, the Moroccan cuisine is very, very rich. His Excellency the Ambassador used to love this fish that we used to offer him each time he would come here. It's a local dish here in Tetuan, and he just loved it. We call it stone. And so, the cuisine is a cultural expression that can also unite different peoples. It is, in Scotland, their national dish is haggis or haggis, and you can hardly consider it as a dish that is worth mentioning compared to our cuisine in Pakistan or Morocco. So I'm speaking here from this house, which used to belong to my grandfather. It's a beautiful house, and which we donated it to the state of Morocco on condition that they create the history of the nationalist movement in northern Morocco here, which they did. And I received a phone call by accident, without expecting it, from this Pakistani lady, and she suggested that she have an interview with me. It will take a bit of time because she thought we were closer than we actually are. So I decided to record this first recording, and then if we can improve the quality of the connection, then we can forget about this recording and make another one. So I was very happy to receive her call. I have been receiving other calls from the embassy of Pakistan in Rabat because His Excellency Ambassador Khan told me that they would like to invite me to Pakistan on this occasion that I mentioned before, and I will be delighted to return to Pakistan for the 3rd or 4th time because there's so much to see. One of the memories that I have of Pakistan in Karachi is that I visited the National Museum there, which was founded by Ali Jinnah, and it included his office and things like that. And it was deeply emotional for me to make that trip to Pakistan. And that was the 3rd time, because I used to teach for 1 year at the University of Tokyo during 1998. And on my way back, I would occasionally stop at Pakistan, Karachi or Lahore, before continuing to London and on my way back to Morocco. So it is really, I'm really delighted to make this trip, and also to meet again my very good friend, His Excellency Ambassador Hamid Asghar Khan. So this is a good start. This statement is a good start. We can consider it as what the French call apéritif, entrée, beginning of the meal, which we will continue some other time if possible. Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy and grateful to make this statement.